To discuss the implications of the pro-democracy protests in Eswatini and their potential outcomes, I'm joined by social and human rights activist Mcebo Dlamini. Mcebo, very good morning. Can you take us through what is driving these protests?
Good morning, my brother, and good morning to the viewers at home. I must say that this is the most difficult interview I've ever done because I'm a bit conflicted. What is happening in Swaziland now is that the concerns being raised by the people are genuine. The people are speaking about the high employment rate that is happening there. They are also talking about the issue of poverty, that they are living below poverty line. And they are also raising issues of a lifestyle of the monarch, in that the monarch is living an opulence lifestyle. So then the people felt that probably it is time for change, in that they feel that the king must have limited powers, because the moment they feel that he has absolute powers, in that he controls literally everything. So that is the gist of the matter. But the unrest have been brewing for the past 2 months, if I'm not mistaken, with the death of a student activist that was alleged to have been killed by the Swazi police. So there were utterances that were made by the Commissioner of Police and also the acting Prime Minister that never sat well with the people on the ground, and in that they just undermined the death instead of apologizing and taking responsibility, and also arresting the people who were involved in the killing that we have seen here in South Africa and in America.
What is it that they actually said, Mcebo?
Come again?
What is it that the police minister or the chief of police and the acting prime minister actually said?
Well, firstly, they denied the death of the activist, and then it followed by saying that people die everywhere, because there were comments made by some police on social media to say, well, people die all the time. And those were the things that really, I feel, ignited the fires. But the tensions have always been there, in that, like I'm saying, that once there are a lot of unemployed young people, then frustration and anger brews. And then especially with the children of the king, most of the time being found flaunting and show-offing opulence on social media, really makes the youth in the country to be very angry.
What you describe, Mcebo, certainly is a spirited determination by the people of Eswatini.
Come again?
I said what you describe is a spirited determination by the people of Eswatini.
Well, the people are united due to their pain and suffering. What brings them together now is the poverty and the hunger. And they feel like they have nothing to lose. And they think that the grass is greener on the other side. Because, like I said, that government of Swaziland is not taking responsibility and of a lot of things that is happening, which then hits directly to the king. So the people see the king as the problem because of the ineffectiveness of government, in executing its duties and trying to create jobs and trying to revive the textile industry and encouraging young people and opening the farms that government owns that are unutilized, so that the youth can find themselves to be, find things to do and feed themselves. The people of Swaziland, for the longest of time, unlike here in South Africa, where there is a high dependence on social grants and government feeding people. The people of Swaziland are capable of feeding themselves, but at the moment, it seems like there is lack of support, and the money is directed to the youth to at least start businesses, because they also allege that the businesses are closed or monopolized. So those are the issues that even the educated ones don't seem to find jobs. So government has a responsibility to work and, lure investors and create jobs. Especially, I believe in land, and I believe in farming and in agriculture. I feel like the youth, if they were to be given land in the communities to work the land, because in SADC region we have a food insecurity at the moment, but we have land, and agriculture, and Swaziland is a rich agricultural land.
Mcebo, paint a picture for us of what democracy would look like in Eswatini, and is it a practical solution to the current problems?
Well, remember that Eswatini has a unique system of governance that has been criticized for the longest of time by some quarters of people who don't understand it. But because I said to you, coming here, I am wearing a lot of hats. Now, I am going to speak on the hat of being a Pan-Africanist and also being a decolonization scholar. I feel that, yes, the issues raised in Swaziland are genuine, but I also feel that Swaziland is in a better position to lead a way of a new system of governance. I feel that the people of Swaziland must be allowed to create and craft their own system without interference of outside forces. Swaziland can assist us in decolonizing democracy as we know it. They must come with a system that will work for them. They must not look for systems that are working for other people outside of Swaziland, looking at their culture, looking at their geographic environment as a country, and how they are as Swazi people, being known for peace and loving and quiet people. So we have seen democracy as we know it coming from Europe. It has not worked in quite a number of African countries. We have seen Lesotho just close to us when they moved from a monarchy to a democratic constitution. So they have been struggling ever since. Swaziland has an opportunity now to study how democracy collapsed in Lesotho, how democracy collapsed in Zimbabwe and Mozambique. Then
sorry to come in there. In your mind, what does that democracy look like? What is that picture? If you were to recommend that as a Pan-Africanist, this is how it should work, bearing in mind the pitfalls of what's happened in Lesotho or in Zimbabwe or in other countries?
Well, look, my brother, I want to believe that as black people, we have our own ways of governance. As black people, we don't need to rely on the Western systems of governance and leadership to guide and direct us as black people. History has proven that we don't understand the European systems as they are. We end up fighting against each other. We end up facing the same looting and opulence from the political formations. The system that Swaziland has, which is a direct system of representation, the Tinkhundla system, which is constituency-based, which means an individual comes directly from the constituency straight to national parliament. So the person is accountable to the people in his constituents. In South Africa, here, you have a problem where the parliamentary representatives feel like they are accountable to a political party, not to the people. Now, the Swazi people are then saying they want to elect their own prime minister. That is them beginning to craft their own system of governance. I feel that they must not destroy what they have completely, but they must fix the loopholes that are there, that they feel are oppressive, and then add what they think will be better for them. They can study countries like Rwanda, for instance, and that they then promote self-reliance and they'll be able to feed themselves. I have a problem when we think that European systems of governance will work for African people. We are in the situation that we are in now because we adopted foreign systems that don't speak to us. The Swazi people, this is an opportunity for them. I call for government and all the forces to engage on meaningful dialogue, to craft a future for the Swazi people, for our children, a system that Africa as a whole will look up to and say, look at the Swazi people. They have came with a solid system where other countries will come and study it. The academics, your decolonization academics, the people who write papers every day, they have failed to study the Swazi culture, the Swazi ways of doing things, and the Swazi system of governance, and develop it in trying to decolonize the systems that we have all over Africa here, which have failed.
Allow me to come in. You've obviously talked a lot about the people of Eswatini and what they need to do and what will be good for them. Let's talk a little bit about the monarchy and the processes of engagement. Is King Mswati and his government prepared to engage the people of Eswatini? And what would that engagement process look like if they do?
Well, I think it's not a matter of whether he is willing or not. It is not a matter of preparedness. The conditions on the ground dictate that there must be engagement, meaningful engagement, honest engagement, engagements that are meant to bring peace and stability in the country. We can't afford to have Swaziland being another failed state in the SADC region. South Africa, as it stands, is carrying a heavy load of refugees. And the South African people every now and then kill and ban people calling them foreigners. It will be painful to see the Swazi people being victims of the banning and killing and them running away from their homes to seek refuge in a country that is facing its own crisis and pandemonium. Now, what we are saying, or what the international community should be pushing, instead of imposing a system, a foreign system to the people, they must be pushing for a dialogue. They must be pushing to facilitate the dialogue. That's where SADC
I'm afraid we're going to have to call time on what has been a gripping conversation this morning. Certainly appreciate you making the time. That was social and human rights activist Mcebo Dlamini.